There's one right off the bat. There's one right off the bat. Right off the point. Tell you what, this is insane. Wait till you hear about my morning, folks. Let's get this fish in. Come on, buddy. Come on. All right. Look at that. Little drop shot bass. Oh, that Arizona custom bait worms does it again. Just a little one. But here's the deal. Today we're at beautiful Alamo Lake, and heard the fishing was just awesome. And we have no wind today though, no wind. And it's funny how you can come out with an idea of what you're planning on doing, put it all on the deck, try to make it work. Just the conditions aren't right for it. A little top water, I tried a little top water, it just wasn't right. And finding out that we're seeing a lot of fish in 20 foot of water, So threw a jig, missed one on a jig, probably throw some jigs. Haven't been up the river to flip yet, but wanted to try to do something here on the main lake early in the morning. So I'm just throwing out my drop shot right on the points. I came out here wanting to spinner bait, do some things, catch a few fish doing that, have some fun. And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. You gotta let the fish tell you what they want. It's not that the fishing probably is not good. It's probably good. You just gotta find out what they're biting on and what you can catch fish on. If I had to tell a novice fisherman, somebody that doesn't go out fishing very often, and had to help them try to catch fish and have them catch fish day in and day out on these Arizona lakes, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be the drop shot. This rig right here, without a doubt, gets the job done day in and day out. From Lake Mead to Havasu, Alamo to Roosevelt, Lake Pleasant, you can always catch them on a drop shot, it seems. You can always get bit on it. It's my go-to rig whenever the fishing's tough, but even when the fishing's good. We're not catching them on spinner baits. They're not biting top water. We spent an hour and a half playing around with all that before as the sun was coming up, and just caught, I think, one little rat on a spinner bait. But realistically, you can have a great day on this rig. And that or a jig, like I said, throw a jig, slow it down a little bit, find out where the fish are. I got tired of watching fish under my graph in that 20 foot of water while I'm fishing the bank. Fish that I can normally just drop my drop shot down to. And that's one of the reasons the drop shot rig is such a key player in the fishing here. Is the thing is when you're slowly going down the bank and you see big arcs and things like that on the bottom, those fish down there are probably catchable. And a lot of times I can drop my drop shot rig straight down. Just open the bail, let it go straight down. Let it sit there a second, kind of pick up on it. It'll feel heavy and thunk thunk, it's usually a fish. So we call it video gaming, but you can do that with this rig, and that's why I like this rig so much. See him go back down after it? Got him. We got him. You see him go back down after it? That's that fish that was down there. Let me pause this. See if I can pause it. Right there. All right. Hold on. You got to see this. It's not a big fish, but I think we'll get our point across. If you look right here, let me move my dial here a little bit. Okay, that's my line coming down. I got hung up a little bit or got a little bite. I pulled up on it, let it come back down, and you can see where the fish was. He arched up on it and went down after the bait right there. Okay, now if I take, you can see I was in 19 foot of water. See where the dial is? Around 19 foot of water is where that fish was. So we're dropping straight down. That's how you video game those fish. As you see them on the graph, you drop the drop shot straight down on fish like that, and you'll catch those fish a lot of times. You'll see them lined out and they'll look straight, but when you see them arc and chase the bait down, because you see your bait coming down, right in that area, and he hit the bait. I just pulled up on it, it was spongy, heavy, set the hook, Because what you want to do when you let that bait actually fall to the bottom is you want your worm to kind of float down real slow. So you drop your rod tip a little bit, let it float down real slow like it's weightless. Then when you pull up, you don't shake it. When you pull up, you just pull up real slow. A lot of times it'll feel spongy, set the hook. Feels like you're in weed. And that's how you catch those fish. I'm gonna show you how I rig my drop shot rig. Most guys rig it the same way. But number one, I like to use a rebarb hook. It's a number one, not a 1/0, just a little number one rebarb hook. It's got the little barb on it that holds the worm on there. It's a straight shank hook. What I like to do is I'm using a 6-pound line. So I'm gonna tie a Palomar knot. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of slack here. And there'd be guys that tie different knots, but I like the Palomar knot. That's what I'm using. It's quick and easy. It's just an overhand knot like so. Leave a loop. You can look this stuff up too and then bring the hook down. Wet your line. Always pull on the tag in. Okay. Now that I have that, most guys would be done and put the drop shot on. But it's really important to take that tag into your line, okay? Really important. Bring it right back down through the eye of where the hook's at. Even if you're nose hooking, you always want to do this if you're using a nose hook. The reason for that is, see how that hook stands straight up now when I pull down on it? That way it gets right in the roof of the mouth of the fish. So that's what you want. You want that thing standing straight up and down, just like that, all right? After you do that, now what I'm throwing is a 1/4 ounce weight. So what I'm gonna do is put the line through, adjust the length. Now the length I'm using is probably about 12 inches or so. I like to let that worm fall. And I'll just bring the line through the clip of the weight, get some good weights that have good swivels on them. And then I'm gonna clip off that long tag in I got there where it's not so long. Bring it up through there, and there you have it. There's your drop shot rig. Now, I'm gonna use my worm, put my curl tail on, okay? So I'm gonna bring it right through here like so. And I'm setting this up weedless, and there's a reason for it. If I was to nose hook a lot in these trees and bushes that Alamo has a lot of, most of the places that I like to fish have a little bit of brush in them. I like to throw right in the middle of the brush. So in saying that, I wanna make sure that I'm weedless rigging my rig here. What I mean by that is I'll bring the worm all the way up the shank of the hook just like so, okay? And then I'm gonna bury the hook inside the worm a little bit. That way it's weedless, and I can pull it through those weeds a little bit better, and it sits straight up and down just like that. Now, one other very important key to setting this whole drop shot thing up, and it's so funny because I just got done fishing the US Open, and I had a co-angler, great drop shot fisherman, but for some reason, he tied straight fluorocarbon line on. You might be able to get away with that for the day, but as the day rolls on, and when you're fishing in deeper water and dropping it in deeper water, you're gonna have a problem with line twists. This is the reason why I like a braided line. Number one, for sensitivity in deeper water, and number two, to keep preventing me from getting all the line twists where you cast out there and you got all this line just twisting off. Because as you reel up a lot of times with your drop shot, it twists your line. There's no way around it really unless you go really slow, and it's a nightmare. So I love being able to throw a braid line. I'm using a 20-pound Seagar Smackdown line is what I'm using. I've had it on for a long time now. Now, you see where my leader's at? Right between these two guides when I go to cast. That's where I tie my leader on to my 6-pound fluorocarbon or 8-pound fluorocarbon line. The importance of this is I get a better cast. I don't want to reel this knot up into my reel. So I like, this is plenty far enough. These fish will be fine. I'm catching plenty of fish. It's not like they see the line and all that. Now, another important key to this whole rig is I like 6-pound line, and I use it probably 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I want to say. The reason for that is because after doing a lot of tank demos and seeing what's going on, the worm acts more natural with light line. I grew up throwing 8 and 6 pound test line in where I live, you know, the lakes that I grew up on, throwing weightless stuff. It's the only way I could get a weightless lure a long ways was to throw light line. So that's how I got away with it. But in saying that, I also realized that the lure or the bait, the worm, looks more natural with lighter line. It doesn't hurt the bait at all. It's not stiff. So it allows the bait to fall like a real worm would. And that's one of the reasons I really like the light line. If I get into a lot of brushy stuff and I'm catching some bigger fish, then I'm gonna go to the bigger line. I mean, if you're a clear lake and you're fishing, you know, all that grass and brush, you're gonna wanna pump it up to 12 pound, you know, something like that. But if I can get away with it, the lighter the line, the better normally. Punched the motor at the wrong time. I might have spooked him. Darn it. Nope, he's got it. That's not the one I wanted. That's not the one little drop shot bass. Now that brings new meaning to a little drop shot bass. Anybody for little sardines? Look at that. They were sitting right off that point. You know, if there's one thing I can help you with about fishing, is there's usually fish on points, no matter what time of year it is. And if you want to learn how to do this technique, you put yourself almost right on the bank from the point, work your way out until you start seeing fish on your graph normally. And it's just, you know, work. The whole deal to making this work really good though, is you gotta barely be moving. Because if you're going down the bank pretty fast, when you see the fish and you drop, your line's gonna be way back behind you. The key is to sit there and do nothing, basically. Just kind of ease it out there a little bit. Look at all these fish down there. Suspended. Look at that. See my bait go right through the suspended fish? They didn't do nothing. Oh wait, one followed it down. One did follow it down. See how the fish kind of followed it down and then kind of broke off? My bait went to the bottom and he broke off from it. You learn how to use your graph a little bit, I'll tell you, you'll catch a lot more fish. People a lot of times just use it for depth. And you can honestly see fish here and learn how to catch them off the graph. And then I don't get so intimidated by going into a tournament going, I don't know what to do, because a lot of times I might have to what we call video game the fish and pull out, see the fish on the graph and drop right down to it and hope to catch it, but it doesn't happen all the time. But some of these fish are really suspended out here. Didn't follow it down. Now this is a good example here of, you know, you'll see some suspended fish you can throw down to them. Sometimes they'll chop off and get, now if you're in a striper area or something like that, if you've got striper in the lake, that's what a lot of striper will do. But if you don't get them there, a lot of times that's why I like to find the fish that are kind of more arced towards the bottom. You know, you still want to throw down to these fish because you never know. But the thing is a lot of times I like to wait until they're towards the bottom a little bit. Got him. Got him. Oh, it's a little bit better fish. Little drop shot bass. Not a giant, but a fun one. Yeah. Oh, there goes my worm. Oh, gee, I feel like I'm catching panfish. I guess I am. Oh my goodness. All right. I kill myself sometimes. Oh, folks, I'll tell you. Just finding out the depth of water they're in and making casts too is a way to go until you actually find them on the graph. If you want to do the video gaming, you can do that, or you can cast out there till you see something, then reel up and get it, you know. Try to do it that way. Hey folks, for my tip of the week, you know, a lot of times doing this kind of drop shotting and actually what we like to do called video gaming on here, you see the fish. If you just threw out a cast, remember a lot of times when you reel it in, the fish, your boat's probably moved away from right under the boat. A lot of times what I do is I just throw right behind the boat and then I drag it. And you'll drag right through that fish that you've seen on the graph a lot of times. It's right under the boat and you can catch that fish. We've done it quite a few times in the past. It works really good. So if you don't get right on top of it right away where you can see the line drop, just throw it right behind the boat, let it drop and drag. You're gonna catch that fish. That's my tip of the week. Got him. Like I said, he was a little guy, but he was there. Come on, feller. That is so much fun to do. We got to get out there where those bigger ones are. But you know, I saw a little dusting down there, what I call dusting, and then I saw a little tiny arc in there, and I thought, oh, I'll throw down there. And he was down there. A lot of times you just throw it down there because you'll see the dusting of shad and things like that, and they'll be hanging around down there. You know, worm color is something that's, to me, is important. You know, if I'm fishing a lake that's fairly clear, or fishing a lake that's, you know, just got maybe a little dinge to it. This is fairly clear. I like my oxblood. My normal colors like oxblood, red flake, or I'll use a morning dawn, things like that. The purple colors, the light pink purple colors and stuff in that clear water, maybe the shad colors as well. But when you get into darker, muddier water, you can still catch fish on that drop shot. The deal is go to a little bit darker worm, like a green pumpkin, for example, something like that, and the fish see it a lot easier and you can catch them that way. But that's pretty much my general rule of throwing colors out there. There's a ton of colors on the market, you know. Arizona Custom Baits makes a great amount of colors, and there's certain lakes that I've done well on certain colors, like for example, like Saguaro Lake or Lake Mead. I like that blue shad, you know. Natural blue shad. It's an awesome color. I love it. But normally when I'm down on these lakes like this and I see a lot of little pebbled rock, things like that, and I think they're eating on crawdad, you really can't go wrong with that oxblood. Oxblood Deluxe is another one that I love that they make, and it's got a copper flake in it, and that's another awesome color. Well, I'll tell you what, Alamo offers a lot of fun fishing. That drop shot's a lot of fun. Didn't catch any big fish today, but I'll tell you what, you can have a lot of fun with this rig. I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun. And if you go around the lake, you know, we've only hit a few little areas, believe it or not. We've caught a lot of little fish, but it's sure been fun. Sure been fun here at Alamo Lake. Pick up some drop shots, get the Johnny Johnson Signature Series Taipan drop shot rod. It's perfect for this setup, and you'll catch a lot of fish on it, I promise. Thanks for joining us on the show. We'll catch you next week. I'm Johnny Johnson.
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.